All right. Take a moment to check in with your body. Check in with your breathing. Good morning. Feet on the floor. Close your eyes and feel where your feet are and where your weight is. Just notice as your body is working with gravity, how is that? And then we'll check again when you get done. Go ahead, it's early, so bend your knees, but go ahead and just go over and try to touch your toes and just feel how easily does the line of fascia on the back side of your body go over. And then we'll check that again as well. All right, start with short foot today. So take one step forward. Start with your feet pointed straight ahead. Take one step forward with your left foot and then bend your knees and make your ears over your shoulders, over your hips. Bend as deeply in that back ankle as you can and then lift your toes on the front foot up and then press them down. Lift and press. Lift, press. And then switch. Step forward with the right foot. Look at your back foot, make sure it's pointed straight ahead, and then bend into that ankle and just feel how does that compare between the right and left side. And then lift and press down into the floor. Lift, press. And then switch again. Left foot forward, right foot back, right foot pointed straight ahead. Bend into the ankle, bend into your knee. 10 times, lift and press your front toes all the way up, all the way down. The nerves and muscles that are the farthest away from your brain are working. As you're walking, that back ankle would need to be in flexion and your toes would need to grip to start to pull you forward. Good. Second time, second side. Start to feel as you press your toes down, what other muscles in your leg are showing up to the party. Maybe hamstring, maybe lateral hip, maybe muscles in your middle back. Maybe that ankle can bend even more now on that back foot as things start to shift or move around. And come all the way up. Excellent. 3 position toe raises. Up onto your toes, all the way up, all the way down. 3 position toe raises starts to work the position of the femur. So from the ankle all the way up to the pelvis. Some of us have some kind of pelvic disparity that maybe we see somewhere else in a turning of your leg bone, somewhere lower down. Good, toes out. Let's go heels together, make that space as narrow as possible between your legs. And lift and lower. And then goes in. And then roll the weight to the insides of your feet. And just feel how well do your hips internally rotate. This is a test that I'm seeing, like someone would hit a leg over here and they would mess with the nervous system, and that would allow more internal rotation to happen on this leg. Just simple tricks, or maybe complicated tricks of the nervous system, but see if we can just get it to happen just by the position. Internal rotation of the leg bone, that's gonna broaden the base of your pelvis, narrow the top of your pelvis, maybe open up the bottom of the SI joint. All of those nerves that go down into your legs, down the front or into the back, are coming down through those spaces from your low back down into your hips and into your tailbone. And then all the way down to your toes, back to straight. One more time, all the way up, all the way down. And out. If you do any Pilates, this is like footwork on the reformer, right? We do it laying on our back, but being able to do it loaded with gravity this way, and just feeling into getting the leg bones to move around into those spaces. And then pigeon toe, toes together again, and up. This time, let's go ahead and take your hands and put them behind your head, open your elbows. So we're just gonna re-engage or temporarily open up the upper back. You may notice that your pelvis wants to fall more forward, or that there's some talking from your shoulders all the way to your lower back, maybe all the way to your toes. Good, can you hold it up there? Get up there, stay there, feel the proprioceptors, find that, create some stability, and release. Release your arms, back to straight last time. All the way up, all the way down. Awesome. Come back to the wall, or find a space at the wall. We're gonna work one side at a time for a moment. Bring it up into an arm glide, single arm glide, all the way up, all the way down. So as we move the right arm, the left side of our brain is the part that's firing. It sends a message to the right side of our brain that says, ooh, if the right side is moving, the left side has to stabilize so that we don't fall out of gravity, that line of gravity. And because the shoulder blade right now has to do a rotation with the arm bone, pulling the shoulder blade out to the side of your body, and then coming all the way up. Awesome, switch. And then elbow curl all the way in, all the way out. Single arm, getting the shoulder blade to wrap around. And then switch sides. Good. And then step away from the wall, single arm circle. Bring one arm out to the side. Let's go fingers spread wide today. And then go ahead and hug the shoulder blade to the spine slightly. 40 circles forward. other side. Palms up, backwards. And release. Excellent. Grab both of your blocks. So we've just been working one side of your back and then the other. We're going to work on the lumbar rectors, this part back here. And when muscles contract, they only pull. So how many of you know that you have a bit of scoliosis in your back or some kind of curvature in your spine? When the muscles engage together into extension, there's an imbalance that's still there. So sometimes we can do flexion type exercises to open up the space, one side doing something different than the other, to help take that imbalance out. So 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, bring your blocks down, and go ahead and put your feet like they're on a balance beam. So when we do this, both hips are in flexion. So we're allowing the pelvis to roll over. One hip is in more flexion than the other. That's going to put a slightly different pull on the two sides of the pelvis. But we can use this to take out a curvature. So allow your body just to round over as much as possible. If you can tighten up your thigh muscles, do so. So lift your kneecaps up your leg. And then just hold and breathe a few more breaths. And allow shifts or changes to happen through the leg, through the hamstring, through the back muscles. Maybe you feel your belly muscles start to pull in and up towards your spine. Go ahead and allow that to happen also. Those are your flexors. And right now we're in flexion, so let your belly actually work. Those belly muscles oppose your back muscles. So as your back muscles lengthen, your belly muscles can engage. And then gently release out of that, and then switch your feet. Same thing. Same but different. Yeah, you might notice it feels really different. While much more space letting between your feet, 2 feet between your feet. And then again, work that knee straighter. Work the front knee lifting. So close kinetic chain here. When we put your hands on the blocks and your feet are on the floor, we're closing that kinetic chain. So there's neurons in your spine that are building and working differently based on the fact that your hands and feet are stable. And then just, again, letting the low belly pull up and in if it can do it, letting the pelvis roll over the top of the thigh bones. Both hips in flexion, but one in deeper flexion than the other. And that puts a different pull through the lumbar rectors. And that could have an effect of dropping a hip if you have one hip that's more elevated, or changing your back muscles where there might be some kind of lumbar rector imbalance. Good. Now, forward fold hanging. So feet hip bone distance apart, hands. So now we're opening the chain here and allowing that to just go over. See, you get to decide where you're at today. If you can, keep your legs straight. If your back is way up here still with your legs straight, then go ahead and bend your knees and break the chain between the hamstrings and the calves. But if your sacrum, the back of your butt right here, or the top of your hips are higher than your back, if your back can get lower than this place, then allow your legs to stay all the way straight. Bring the weight forward towards your toes. Let your head relax all the way and lift your kneecaps again, and just allow that whole line of fascia, calves and hamstrings and back muscles to be in that open, long, flex position. And again, you may feel your belly pull up and in, and that's okay right now. And eventually you'll feel your hip flexors engage and turn on and help to pull your pelvis even more forward. You may notice different muscles in your legs kind of shake and then let go, or a different muscle in your back shake and release. And then bend your knees, bring your hands to your hips, go ahead and come back up to standing. One more into a child's pose. So I'm really going after these lumbar rectors today. And then just allow your tailbone to get to a place where it's rounding down. And you could be wherever you need to be. If it's up here, that's all right. If you can sit back more and let that move down, shift down, do so. Big, full breaths. Breathe in, expand in all directions. Exhale, release and let go. One more like that. Inhale, expand. Release and let go. And then come all the way up to standing and check your feet. How does that compare to the beginning? Does that feel like you're starting to have a more even position? Maybe the weight is distributed differently on your feet? Yes? Maybe? Something? Okay, into a quad stretch. Standing quad stretch. Find a place where you can balance or hold on to something. You could also set your foot onto the back of a chair or something that way. You're welcome to do that. You could hold on to the wall, or you could use both hands to hold on to your foot and allow both shoulders to be opening and moving back. Then go ahead and tuck your tailbone and really allow the front of that thigh to open. Switch. move your jaw around. Just allow your jaw to release. There's lots of muscles and nerves that come into that neck and chest space from the back of your neck through toward the front, and then release that down. Grab your strap. We worked these the other day, but we don't work them very often. Make it so there's a loop in your strap, and then place both elbows inside. And then hold them up, feet pointed straight ahead. If you want to, you could add a block to the inside of your legs just to create even more stability on the inside of your legs. And then hold your elbows up or arms up. Squeeze in with your legs and then pull out with your elbows. Press, release, press, release.
Should your elbows be as wide as your shoulder?
Yeah. So elbow abduction, pulling out, and then release. You're gonna feel muscles on the back side of your arm, on the back side of your shoulder, and on the back side of your shoulder blade. So subscapularis and some serratus just from holding your arm up here. Those are right on the side. You could floss your shoulder blades a few times, like round your back, and just feel where your arm bones are, and then go back to your abductors. Pull out and release. And again, this is a place where there can be big imbalances. As you do that, feel what happens all the way into your rib cage. Can you take a deep breath into the ribs? And release that. Now come down onto your hands and knees, cats and dogs. As you reintegrate that into your body, you might have some clunks or shifts or movement. And then come down onto your back. We'll do some spinal stability. You could come down onto your side and then roll onto your back so that you have good spine hygiene and you're not going into too much flexion. And then from this place, find neutral. So pubic bone to hip bones level, some curvature in your low back, and then go ahead and stretch your legs out straight. Do one glute contraction. Squeeze your butt muscles, and that will really neutralize your pelvis. Feel that place behind your heart that is on the floor, and then go ahead and start your opposite arm, opposite leg, cross crawls. Both the knee and the arm move up at the same time, and then all the way back down. All the way up, all the way down, like your arm and leg are connected by a string. As you pull the arm, the leg comes. As you pull on the leg, the arm comes down.
Same side.
Switching each time. Good. If you'd like more abdominal work, you could switch at the top. You'll notice that your pelvis goes slightly more flat as you do that, as you recruit some more musculature to hold that there. And then both feet on the floor. Just take a moment to rest. Reset your position. Did you have a shoulder blade that got a little bit wider or unlocked? Did your belly button and your nose get out of center? Just recheck your alignment. This time we're going to do the same thing. Put your hands behind your head, then make it more of a bicycle. So old school, like 80s exercise. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, bring the opposite arm, elbow into the knee, and then switch sides. Bicycle, adding some oblique. And release. Roll to your side. Now, this is a test. We are going to do an inner thigh test by seeing if you can lift your body up and then hold your body up with that inner thigh. It doesn't have to be for long, but I do want to see if you can do it. So sometimes the muscles on the inside and the outside of the leg don't work well enough. This adductor, we work a lot by squeezing on a block. Go ahead and do it. So put that leg out there, lift your hips off the floor however you can, and then lift the other leg off the floor and just hold it. Nope, letting the top leg. Top leg goes down. There you go. Okay, then lift your hips off the floor, yep, and then hold that so your bottom leg is just being held. Yeah, and if you can't do it, you got some work to do on that inner thigh because the outer hip will get tight if the inner hip isn't being able to do its job. Good job. Switch sides. Okay, top leg down on the floor. Somehow get your hips off the floor and then hold that other leg up. Count to 10. Test it. All right, did you have one that worked better than the other? Switch back to the top leg again. Top leg.
The top leg's on the
Top leg's on the floor. No, top leg is touching the ground. There you go. Yes. That's it. Good. First side one more time. Okay, top leg down on the ground. Lift your hips up however you can get them up there, and then hold that other leg off the ground 10 seconds. And release. Top leg down on the ground. Lift your hips off the ground. Hold that other leg up off the floor. 10 seconds. And release. Excellent. Onto your hands and knees. One more time, cats and dogs. And then onto your back. Again, we're going to use those same muscles. Grab the block, place it between your knees. Feet on the floor, knees bent. Neutral pelvis again, so slight curve between your lower back and the floor, just barely. Check your nose and your sternum, make sure that's all aligned. Gently let your shoulders come down to the floor and squeeze and release. Find those same muscles that you just used to lift your body. Squeeze the block and release. If you squeeze enough, squeeze and hold it. Let's just hold the constant pressure for a moment. As you squeeze in at the base of your pelvis, the top of the pelvis has no option except for to broaden slightly. You have the place in the front of your pelvis called your pubic symphysis, where there's cartilage that joins the joint in the front, and then on the back side you have your SI joints. When you squeeze in and you recruit your adductors, it pulls on those spaces, and it may make your back adjust or your pelvis adjust. Good, go back to squeeze and release. Slowly hold it, make sure both sides are actually working. And then release, knee drops, knees to the inside, letting this outer hip open. So remember I said sometimes the outer hip can get tight if the inner thigh is not working. So now lengthen that outer hip because we've given that inner hip a message to turn on. And then go all the way over. This time take the left heel on top of your right knee and just pull that right knee down a bit more. Into that internal rotation, big full breaths. You might feel that up into your back, into the side of your hip, psoas, belly. Switch. Right heel on top of your left knee. And then left arm above you, open that whole left side. Big breaths. And then come up, backward and forward. And then both knees into your chest, all the way in, and then roll them over to the right, keeping that left shoulder moving back down toward the floor. Big twist through your belly, through your arm, through your shoulder, all the way up to your neck. Come on up and switch. onto your back, pelvic tilts. All the way back. And then also arch all the way down, all the way up. Come all the way back to standing. Grab your block and come into a extended lateral. So a lot of space, 3 feet between your feet. Bend deeply into that front knee. Take your hand to the block on the floor. Working this leg toward parallel to the floor. So even if you need to move that back leg back farther, and then open this arm, you can go cactus arm style. Feel the back side of that shoulder as you open it up. Even look up toward the sky and keep refining that move. So back inner thigh, back and wide, front sit bone coming down, scooping down toward the floor. That's going to help turn on that whole back side of that front leg. And all the way up. Switch your feet. Even here, that adductor has to do some work. Back inner thigh, back and wide, front sit bone scooping down toward the floor. And then cactus arm on this top arm, open that space. Bring your chest up, look up, pull the shoulder back onto your back. And then again, tune into that breath. Inhale, expand in all directions. Release and let go. Again, inhale, expand. Release and let go. And then come all the way up. Both feet facing forward, spread foot forward, bend. Coming all the way over. And then inhale, rise to standing. Check your feet again today. And just feel the weight on your feet. And notice what's happening. Is it shifting? Is it changing? Do you have different access to some muscles or spaces in your relationship to gravity? What do you think? Yeah? Okay, one more runner stretch. Let's just go after that one more time. Both blocks, or you can try to go all the way to the floor if you wanted to. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Go into that space one more time. You're gonna get more out of this from the second time. Maybe you can roll over more. You're welcome to still be up on your blocks if it feels like the floor is not quite accessible. And then allow for the flexion to happen. Allow your belly to pull up towards your spine as you round over. Lift your kneecaps.
and breathe. Let your head go. Switch sides. So we measure this often by coming down and putting your front heel directly in front of your knee and then tucking your back toes under. Coming up, that will give you the precise position. And then both legs straight again. Breathing and allowing the back to round, allowing the hamstring to engage and lengthen, the belly to pull up and in, the pelvis to roll forward over the top of that thigh bone, and maybe the thigh bone actually changing positions where it sits in the hip socket. Possibly you have something in that imbalance in your back where it hooks all the way up into the rib cage, or shoulder also shifts. Then a downward dog. Then walk your feet to your hands or your hands to your feet.
Come up to standing one more time. Check your feet one more time. Hopefully the weight feels like it's in a bit of a different space, or maybe your leg bones feel like they're more underneath you. I have some different access to that inner thigh that we found right now, which helps my tibial torsion not be so bad, not so bow-legged at the moment. See how long that will last. How about you? All right, one deep breath together. Full stretch all the way up, look up. Feel that working all the way into your back. Maybe there's a more even contraction through those lumbar rectors, into the glutes, into the backside of the leg, and release. You can move your neck around a little bit if you need to move that some more, and then find your space for meditation, seated or lying down. Lie down or come to your seat today, do that psychological sigh. Double inhale, long exhale. In a really conscious breath, bringing that breath into the body. Full exhale, release and let go. Double inhale. Release and let go. One more.
deeper step into yourself and see what's there today. Beyond breath and mind, maybe there's a subtle pulsation, a gentle contraction and expansion of your energetic body. See if you can turn into that. Give that your attention. Broaden your awareness again, not just to inside or outside, but into the energetic body. Notice the physical body is inside of the energetic body. Your awareness can hold space for inside and outside. And thoughts might move through the space. Sensations in the body might move through the space. Just let them move. Like a cloud passing, just let them move through without grabbing your attention. And if something grabs your attention, just come back. Notice the part that is aware. There's a natural synchronicity when you come to this space that's always present. This state is healthy for the body and mind. But it's also more. So notice the peace and the silence that exists here in your own being. And when we practice coming from this space, There's a calm center that we can always find in the midst of the storm. A mind storm or an emotion storm or a physical body storm. Take over the breath again in a more conscious way. Bring in that full breath into the body, expand in all directions, and exhale, release. Allow your mind to follow the breath for 2 more breaths. Inhale, expand. Release and let go. One more time. Inhale, expand in all directions. Front, back, side to side. Release and let go. From that place, what's your inspired action today? What's your heart's desire for moving this vehicle of your body through the day into whatever the doingness that you're doing? And can you bring the beingness of this calm space to your doing, whatever that is today? If it feels right, bring your hands to your heart. Honor the fullness of your own being, energy, body, mind, heart. Namaste. Thanks, everybody. Hopefully those backs feel pretty good.
Oh, I love that sequence.
Good. That was a kind of a scoliosis sequence or a lumbar rector imbalance sequence, but so many of us have something like that, so hopefully that'll work well.
Thank you.